Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Devo with Bo, and hope you guys are doing good. Going to be in Ezekiel 24 today. If you've never been with me, never seen these videos, these are devotions actually through the entire Bible. So I go through the entire Bible, not so much in an intense Bible study format, but more in like a devotional format, but literally just go through the Bible. And so it's kind of not a new concept, or it doesn't seem like it should be, but it's kind of the way I kind of learned the Bible, just as a secular, progressive, kind of materialist ideology growing up in Southern California. You kind of don't read the Bible at all. You don't know any Christians at all, nothing like that. Totally foreign from you. But then as I got older, through the influence of heavy metal music, reggae music, it all kind of hit me, some of the things I didn't understand about the lyrics, which kind of all were about a Judeo-Christian worldview. There was evil, there was hell, there was heaven. I remember a song by Ronnie James Dio, the late great Dio, if you will. and Holy Diver, The Last in Line, those two albums. They talked a lot. It seemed like about this heaven and hell place in this, and there was a song that Dio did, and I think Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. And, these kind of things were very influential in my life, actually moved me through some experiences to actually pick up the Bible and read through it. So that's why I do my devotions this way. So Ezekiel 24. And, I just got this cool text from our daughter that said, God, I got to look at it again. But, it was this text from this news network. I don't know what the outlet is. Oh, it said Newsweek, I think. But it says Hamas calls for immediate end to war after Trump election win. That was published November 6th, updated November 7th. So I'm going to have to follow that and see what that's all about. Sometimes as a Christian, we kind of look at the news through the word, the prophetic lens, sometimes, we kind of are always thrown a curveball. We might think one thing as a church, but then, something else is happening. So we want to be very keen with our kind of spiritual eyes as to what's going on in the world. Is there going to be peace? Is there going to be a peace treaty? Who's going to make that peace treaty? What's that person going to be like? Man, who is it? Interesting, right? Yeah, we all know that there's going to be this Antichrist. And so we're all kind of, sometimes just looking at the world and seeing how the world is set up. Is it biblically lined up? So you know what I mean by that. So anyway, chapter 24 of Ezekiel. We got done chapter 23, and sure, that was a doozy, man. That was awesome. I mean, wow, so much to see in your own life. And now verse 24 is the sign of the cooking pot. And I love Ezekiel, man. He's got these he's like a thespian. He's like doing plays for people, to help them see kind of what's going to happen to Jerusalem, the remainder of people in Jerusalem as Ezekiel is in Babylon. So it says on January 15th, and let me make sure the music's not in the background. They're bothering you. On January 15th, during the 9th year of King Jehoiachin's captivity, this message came to me from the Lord. Son of man, write down today's date, because on this very day, the king of Babylon is beginning his attack against Jerusalem. Okay, so it's the 9th year of January 15th of Jehoiachin's captivity, that is. And so it gives a specific date to when this attack on Jerusalem is going to happen. And it says, then give these rebels an illustration with this message from the sovereign Lord. Put a pot on the fire and pour in some water. Fill it with choice pieces of meat, the rump and the shoulder, and all the moist, tender cuts. Oh, we love our meat, It says, sounds like a good little stew going on. It says, use only the best sheep from the flock and heat fuel on the fire beneath the pot. Bring the pot to a boil and cook the bones along with the meat. Now, this is what the sovereign Lord says. You know what I love about that little section right there? The old pot and the meat and the bones and all that is it seems like they're cooking the whole thing. Like back in those days, man, they made use of every part, man. They just really went at it, Maybe today all of our processed food isn't the best. Who allows all the processed food anyway? Why do they allow all that processed food? What was it all about? What's the nutritional pyramids thing all about? Is that really, really accurate? Is it really good to eat that kind of a diet? It's kind of interesting. We seem like ever since I was young, it seems like there's this kind of way to go about it. That your health class in school kind of tells you this is how you should eat, and this is how you should eat, and that kind of thing. That's kind of this FDA regulated kind of nutritional guide. But as we get older, we start going, I wonder if this too has been corrupted. I wonder if this, industry is compromised as well. I wonder. I just wonder, right? And it's interesting, back then, they put the old stew on. and they put the meat in and they put the bones in. There's something to the bones that is good for you, maybe, right? It says, now this is what the sovereign Lord says. What sorrow awaits Jerusalem, the city of murderers. So this is about Jerusalem. This is about those who what? It says they're rebels. They won't listen to me. They won't pay attention. Always remember Jeremiah. Jeremiah saying, you guys need to surrender. But they wouldn't. They just stuck in there. We're not going to give up Jerusalem. And so God says, hey, this is what the sovereign Lord says. You guys are a city of murderers. We've already kind of went over that in this book. It says, she is a cooking pot, those whose corruption cannot be cleaned out. It says, take the meat out in random order, for no piece is better than another, for the blood of the murderers is splashed on the rocks. So take out the meat and just throw it. Yikes. Put it random order. For the blood of the murderers is splashed on the rocks. It isn't even spilled on the ground where the dust could cover it. So it's for all to see. And it says, so I will splash her blood on a rock for all to see, an expression of my anger and vengeance against her. This is what the sovereign Lord says, what sorrow awaits Jerusalem. You know what I get from the first thing, just right off the bat in my mind? Is how sometimes just our yuck is kind of exposed, right? There's times where finally we're kind of found out, our stuff is just revealed, and sometimes all's people see is maybe that kind of good stuff. But, if I don't have confession in my life, then really all's people see usually is the good stuff. Confession is what really brings out lets people know the stuff that's not good, and, if you don't ever confess, then I imagine a lot of people just think either you don't think you're doing wrong when you are doing wrong. So they think maybe you're kind of disillusioned or something. They think you don't know what you're doing because you just never confess that it's wrong. And we all have had, parents like this growing up, right? Where they're doing something wrong, but they don't say nothing about it. They think they're fine. They just go about their biz. And you get mad as a kid. Like, man, dude, don't they see it? But they don't. Maybe they don't want to, right? So maybe there's that kind of thing that goes on, right? Or they're going to come to you and say, hey, I'm sorry, like I messed up, and they might tell you some, and it might be that they don't do something that you see, but they do something anyway, right? In secret. And so, God knows our secret sins. He knows what's hidden, what seems to be veiled, but to him it's all open. And so, we're told to go to one to another, that confession should be a part of our lives. It should be something that's in our mouth, whether it's our greed or our lustful inclinations, our envy, our jealousies, our fears, our insecurities, our discontentments, our resentments, our anger, whatever those things are. But we share those things, we confess it. That's sin. Lord, that's sin. And Jesus knows that people are going to sin over and over and over. And he knows that. That's why he says if someone comes to you 7 times in a day, forgive them, right? Because it happens. He says if you being evil, if Jesus called people evil, then obviously Jesus knows that we are messed. And we have a fallen nature that is super messy. It needs redemption. It needs the hope of perfect sanctification. We hope for that, right? We are hoping to be one day made perfect. So that's what I get just off the top of my head, kind of in a devotion style with the meat thrown on the rocks is that exposure, right? Maybe my sin just needs to be exposed. Therefore, it can be squashed, right? If there's no exposure, right, it can't be really snuffed out. It says, this is what the sovereign Lord says, what sorrow awaits Jerusalem, the city of murderers. I myself will pile up fuel for her. Yes, heap on the wood. Let the fire roar. and make a pot boil. Cook the meat with many spices, and afterward burn the bones. Now set the empty pot on the coals, heat it red hot, burn away the filth and corruption. But it's hopeless. The corruption can't be cleaned out, so throw it to the fire. The impurity is your lewdness and the corruption of your idolatry. I tried to cleanse you, but you refused. So now you will remain in your filth until my fury against you has been satisfied. You just continue, and God does this by letting them go, moving them out, letting them go, moving them out of Jerusalem and letting them go. Go into where you go. You want to hang out with Babylon? Okay, here you go. Go into their kingdom. You go. And so God says, hey, we're going to turn up the heat. And sometimes God's going to turn up the heat in my life and in your life. And it is a refining work that one day the filth won't remain. Man, that's a scary idea because no one wants the heat to be turned up, the trial to happen. And yet God's got a purpose in that for us, a good one, right? A right one to refine us. So I, the Lord, have spoken. The time has come. I won't hold back. I will not change my mind, and I have no pity on you. For you will be judged on the basis of all your wicked actions, says the sovereign Lord. Okay, so the world will be judged for all of its wicked actions, for anything. Whatever the world has given, you will get back. You reap what we sow. We reap what we sow. So, whatever the world has done, how good is the world? What does the world deserve? Humans on the planet. What do we really deserve? Woo! Man, right? If we don't want the true Christ, what will we get? What will we partake of? What will we drink from? Maybe the false Christ. Are we putting our trust in someone who maybe is even the false Christ? Very interesting. We have to be mindful of where our allegiance really lies. Hey, if you want to vote, vote. You did. It's done. But our allegiance lies with the Lord, right? Yeah, we know that the players are not going to be so, well in the world, right? Yeah. It says, then this message came to me from the Lord, Son of man, with one blow I will take away your dearest treasure. You must not show any sorrow at her death. Do not weep. Let there be no tears. Go in silently. There must be no wailing at her grave. Groan silently. Okay, so check out this message. This is the death of Ezekiel's wife. With one blow I will take away your dearest treasure. What's his dearest treasure? It's his wife. Now, I love that section. I know you go, what? What's happening? Well, Ezekiel's wife, I don't know what her situation was, but it is her time. This day her life is required. And the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh, Job says, right? Blessed be the name of the Lord. And this is the day that she is to be taken. And Ezekiel's told to groan silently, but not weep publicly. No public tears or anything like that, in a silent way. And there's going to be a reason why. But I do love the idea of the dearest treasure, don't you? What's my dearest treasure? In life. Let's face it, no matter what you think, what you believe and what your ideology is, it doesn't matter. I mean, when I was an atheist growing up, it's the same. It doesn't matter. But the treasure isn't it the person who you hang out with all the time? I mean, isn't that the treasure? Isn't that just, so cool that you get to be with that person and see that person, and what a joy it is to be around them. Just to love their little idiosyncrasies. I just love my wife's style. I just think it's such a cool style. I think if everybody had her vibe, man, the world would be a better place. If people weren't so spazzy like me and just blah, right? And sometimes the personalities like me can be a little too much, right? a little too go, too much go, not enough slow. And I love that I got someone who's a little more slow than go. Definitely balances me out. And I'm sure I push her sometimes. But man, what a treasure. What a treasure. Totally. I wish I could treat her better. And yeah, because I'm not a perfect dude at all. But man, when I think of what is really the treasure, I think, man, just that person. And it says, do not uncover your head or take off your sandals. Do not perform the usual rituals of mourning or accept any food brought to you by consoling friends. So there was this whole kind of festival of mourning that God says no. He says, so Ezekiel says, so I proclaimed this to the people the next morning, and in the evening my wife died. The next morning I did everything I'd been told to do, and the people asked, what does all this mean? What are you trying to tell us? So I said to them, a message came to me from the Lord, and I was told to give you this message to the people of Israel. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I will defile my temple, the source of your security and pride. They boasted in their religious temple, their religious place, the building. Oh, that building's so cool. Oh, it's so great. He says, the place of your heart's delight, your sons and daughters, whom you left behind in Judah, will be slaughtered by the sword. Then you will do as Ezekiel has done. You will not mourn in public or console yourself by eating the food brought by friends. Your heads will remain covered and your sandals will not be taken off. You will not mourn or weep, but you will waste away because of your sins. You will mourn privately for all the evil you have done. Ezekiel is an example for you. You will do just as he has done. And when that time comes, you will know that I am the sovereign Lord. Hey, Ezekiel is going to be the temple will be that precious place. Just like Ezekiel's wife, it'll be that treasure that goes away quickly. It's just done. And you're not going to be in Jerusalem to have these festivals. You guys are all going to mourn in captivity, away, and in kind of a silent mourning. Babylon's not going to let you just do your thing. Just mourn the way you guys want to, the way you've been doing it. Nope, you're in captivity now. It's going to be a silent kind of mourn, And it says, then the Lord said to me, Son of man, on the day I will take away their stronghold, their joy and their glory, their heart's desire, their dearest treasure. I will take away their sons and daughters. And that day a survivor from Jerusalem will come to you in Babylon and tell you what has happened. And when he arrives, your voice will suddenly return so that you can talk to him, and you will be a symbol for the people. Then they will know that I am the Lord. So there will be this morning until the time of that messenger, and then we will be able to speak. And I love that. We're kind of inept until the messenger comes. And when Jesus comes, the messenger, then we're able to communicate properly with God. I kind of see that too. That little bit of an analogy, right? Hey, there's going to be someone who comes, a survivor, the strong one, right? And he's going to come, and when he comes, you're going to be able, suddenly, your voice will return to you. It's a little bit of a stretch of an analogy, but I find it kind of cool, right? Hey, Jesus comes to us, and we finally can what? Man, we finally can speak. We finally can get back on the right track. And I kind of love that. Hey, we all need to be on the right track. And that means today. This is the day the Lord has made. Whatever was yesterday is done. It's no longer. You can't go back. But we have today. So we need to come to God today. Learn to confess. Father, forgive me of my greed inclinations, the things that I do, the thing I said there, the lustful things, the actions, maybe the things I see. Lord, they're not good. Maybe the things I'm hearing, maybe this, maybe that. Lord, those things that aren't tied down, let them go away. Let them be away. So I heard a brother share that the other day, and I thought that was a very cool idea that's from the scriptures. That if it's not solid, if it's not tied down in you, Lord, let it fly away, man. Oh man, so good. So great chapter. Love it. You guys have a good day. Take care. Okay. Thanks for joining me on the Devo. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.